Welcome back, everyone. I'm attorney Jerry Pitts is with us today. We're looking back on one of my this case fascinated me. Obviously, the thought behind it was very serious. The allegations were serious, but Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. And I thought to myself, boy, Amber Heard just came off so poorly in this. And I thought, is there a PR aspect? If you're a defense attorney, I don't know what you could have done differently with her, but she just did not play well as far as sympathy with either the jury or the general audience. What do you do differently about that?
I think the issue that I see here was her motives.
Yeah.
That's what everybody would be looking at, it is the motive here. For example, let's try this. There are situations in which people cannot afford to get a divorce.
Yeah.
So they run to the issue of, or allege, some domestic violence situation, which the court could order that the other spouse or refrain from being on the residence, which gives you a semi-type of divorce without going through that cost using the criminal justice system. Now, that's the funny thing about it. And that's what we should all be concerned is, what is the motive? What was the intent? And in this particular matter, they say she was intentionally just trying to harm him by coming up with what she came up with.
With those allegations, she wrote this op-ed, and I don't think she named him by name, but it was pretty obvious who she was talking about. And so he filed this defamation suit. She countered with defamation. They both had to pay, which surprised me. I don't know if I never heard of it.
Supposedly, they were supposed to exchange money to each other.
Right.
But they also are saying that she doesn't have the money to pay him anyway.
Right.
So collecting it is going to be difficult. It's just like getting a judgment from someone who is bankrupt.
Yeah.
Well, you got the judgment. You can set it on the wall, but what you going to do with it?
Yeah.
You still got to go turn around and spend more money trying to collect the money that supposedly you was going to get anyway. I think this was it got to the point of show and tell for the state of Virginia, whereas you got to wonder what's the end result other than them damaging women of the future who will have real, legitimate domestic violence claims.
If you're, as a defense attorney, if you have a situation like, and you're not going to have a case like this where it's Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, but you've had cases where there were locally known people. Is there a fear that it just becomes too much of a circus? Because this one became a circus.
Exactly.
Everyone scrutinized Johnny Depp's facial expressions, her facial expressions. Do you have a fear that those kind of things that can become a circus? And if so, does that hurt you and what you're trying to do in your case?
Well, I think in most circumstances, in where we stand, is if you got a domestic violence, it's semi-criminal.
Yeah.
Well, this one turned into a money deal, and the criminal aspect of it didn't last any time. But most attorneys under these circumstances probably wouldn't choose a jury. I would have waived the jury and went straight and used the judge.
Interesting. Why is that?
Because emotions.
Okay.
And then just setting the jury would be highly difficult to do, because you're going to have to really research the history of each juror to see how they are leaning and what's their history, what their family life is like.
Yeah.
Have they had one of these before? It'll be a great deal more work. And I would say that under this circumstances, especially if it's someone who's known in the community, I think to try it to the court would be the most appropriate.
That's a lot of homework to do, as you mentioned, to know the background of jurors and that kind of thing, because you only get so many that you can say, I don't want that person in there, right?
But at the same time, we got to be realistic.
Yeah.
If I had clients like them who could pay me the prices that I wanted to be paid,
right,
then you're going to do exactly what they want to do.
Yeah.
And you can even hire independent persons to be reviewing potential jurors and everything you need.
Yeah.
See, this was a money case. So that's why it got the attention it got, but it might have hurt realistic cases.
Yeah, that's true. It's a fascinating case. All right, thank you, Jerry. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Seeing you. Don't go on medical news coming up next on Noon Edition.